Um, for me, I like to tell you guys stories about my life, things that have happened to me, and we call this Story Time with Chaz. I like to give you some information about what's going on in my life so you can maybe apply it to your life and learn something from what I've been through. Well, for me, I boxed for like 12 years. And I started out when I was kind of young and boxed until I was, like 20-something years old, 22 or 3, whatever. So I boxed for quite a while. And what I learned in boxing was a lot of stuff, and I got a lot of stuff from it. But I can think of one particular fight that really taught me a lot. This is when I had first turned open. Now, for some of you that don't know what that means, and when you're an amateur boxer, that means that there are like 4 divisions in the amateurs. There's the junior open, that's for little kids. There's novice, that's for like older people who just started out, like grown-ups that just started out. And then you have open, and open is for people who are like anywhere from, it used to be 17 to, I don't know what the oldest age was, but it was like anywhere from 17 and up, I'll say. And then you had like senior open, which was, I guess, whatever the cutoff the open was. I'm not for sure what the age group was. I don't remember. But it was some age group. I think you had to be 30-something. I don't know. But anyway, so then you had senior open. But I had turned open. And this was like my first open fight. I was still 17. I just turned 17. And I was fighting a guy that was like 25 years old. Now, I was scared to death. I was scared first because he was a grown man and I was still a kid. When you're a kid, you used to have to listen to older people and not be in a situation where you're actually beating them up. So that was a lot for me to have to fight somebody older, And I also had this thing where I was afraid of people who had facial hair. Like if somebody had a beard or something like that, I was scared of them because I felt like they were grown. So this dude had a thick mustache. He didn't even have a beard or a goatee or nothing. He just had a thick mustache, which makes you look older. And he had tattoos, which I was scared of people that had tattoos. For whatever reason, I just felt like if a person had tattoos, they must be really tough. I was like 17. So, and the guy also was from Philadelphia, and I was afraid of people from Philadelphia. So it was like 3 strikes. Why was I afraid of people from Philadelphia? Because if you know a lot about boxing or anything about boxing, people from Philadelphia are just supposed to be really tough guys, really good fighters. And I had never fought anybody from Philadelphia before. But I fought people from everywhere else. Well, not everywhere else, but a lot of other places. But not Philadelphia. That was one of the places I had never fought anybody from. And I heard they were super tough. I heard they'd kill you. So I was scared of people from Philadelphia. So, needless to say, by the time we got to the fight, I was scared. I mean, I was like to the point where I was actually kind of shaking. It's pretty embarrassing, but yes, a brother was shaking. If anybody tell you that they never been scared when they went into a fight is a liar. The only way you're never scared of anything is if you're too dumb to know that you could get hurt, or, well, you're just lying. So, I'm scared, and I'm super nervous. Like, I felt like all the energy had been zapped from my legs. I remember my coach actually walked me to the ring, and as we went up the stairs, like 5 stairs, we went up the stairs. I almost tripped off the staircase. It's like this little, mobile stair thing that they put there where you can just go up and down. So I had this I almost tripped off of this thing and fell. And it was like, I'm sitting here looking like, I was trying to see if anybody saw me fall. And I don't know if anybody noticed, but they probably did. So I go in the ring, and I'm nervous. Like, my mouth is all dry. I'm all scared, and my legs kind of nervous and shaking. And my coach goes, get out there and do your thing, be loose. And I'm like, okay, I will. So I get out there, and this guy comes out there, and he's buff. He's in really good shape, And I'm still a kid. Like, I got some muscles, but they're like kid muscles. His muscles like all developed and stuff. I'm like, oh man, this dude's gonna kill me. So he comes out there, he just charges at me, just bam, and I just cover up, and he just beats me from pillar to post. I mean, it was so bad that I got a standing 8 count. Now I don't know if you don't know about boxing a lot. A standing 8 count is when the referee basically says you didn't even get knocked down. But you getting your ass whooped so bad right now, right this second, that I feel that I need to count to 8 seconds, give you some time to get your head together, and make sure you straight. So that's how bad I was getting my ass whooped, to the point where the referee actually wanted to look at me and make sure I was straight. And like normally when you get a standing 8 count, the referee, he just counts and he's like, "Are you all right?" Blah blah blah. Walk to me. But that's all he does. I was in a situation where I'm thinking the referee is feeling bad for me because he's actually saying stuff like, "Man, you sure you want to keep doing this? You okay? You straight? You want to keep going? Man, you don't have to keep doing this." I'm like, dude, I'm good. I feel like, man, he don't even have no confidence in me anymore. So I'm staying in the fight though. I'm covering up. And he's just going in on me. And finally the bell rings. And I was so happy because I was like, oh my God, it's finally over for a second. I can rest and I can get my head back together. You know, maybe I can come out and do better in the next round. I'm glad that's over. Wow. I can finally put my hands down. So I go and I sit on the bench. And I sit on my stool. And the referee and my coach is like, "Look, man, what are you doing? You're fighting like you're scared." And I'm thinking to myself, like, I am scared. I'm not acting. I'm not fighting like I'm scared. I am scared. He's like, "Oh, be acting all scared of this dude. What's wrong with you?" He said, "Man, you can't just keep running. You can't keep putting your hands all high like that. Because, you know, when you got your hands real high like that, you can't really see. You know, and it's okay to cover up for a second sometimes, but when you don't sit there covered up like that, you can't do anything back, and the person just keeps on going." So he was like, "You can't just be sitting there covered up like that. What you doing, man? And you running back and forth, and you running around, and you know, you're not trying to fight." You know, he said, "What you need to do is stand your ground and throw a big left hand. Just stand your ground and throw a big left hand." And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, because in case you didn't know, you probably couldn't tell on video, I am a southpaw. Southpaw means you're left-handed. So he's sitting there, he's like, "Yeah, throw it." And lefties like to throw lead left hands a lot of times. That's when you throw your left hand first instead of a jab and then the left hand. Okay, that was a little boxing lesson. Anyway, so he wants me to do that. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm scared. I'm not going to get out here and try to just sit down and throw a left hand on this dude. Are you crazy? You might kill me. So I get out there. The bell rings. I'm like, I'm not going to let this dude beat me up no more. I'm going to do my thing. He comes out, man, same thing. I mean, he just like, psh, psh. I'm taking shots. I'm over here. Bam. Oh, I know they laughing. Oh, I'm taking shots. Bow, bow, bow. I got my hands up, you know, and I'm pretty covered up, but I'm taking a few of them, and that's why the referee's not stopping me, because I'm actually covered up pretty good, and he's missing a lot. But he's landing them. I ain't gonna lie, he's landing them. But he was missing a lot, and I was covered up pretty good. So anyway, I take a few shots. The referee gives me another standing 8 count. Basically, he looks at me at this time. He say, "Look, man, if you don't start fighting back, I'm going to have to stop you. Because I can't sit here and let you get beat up like this." So I'm feeling bad about myself now. I'm emotionally distraught to some degree. And I sit here and say, you know what? Forget it. I'm already getting beat up. The dude's probably going to knock me out anyway. So I'm just going to stand my ground. And I'm going to throw this big left hand. I'm going to try to knock him out. I'm going to do something. Because even if he does knock me out, at least I can say I tried. At least I can say I went down swinging. And yes, people will laugh at me, but I will know that I at least made a difference in my own life. I tried. So he comes from around the ring, and I sit there, and for some of you boxing aficionados, I just spread my feet out, and I sat down. I turned on my left toe, and it came right off my chin. I mean, it was pretty. Bam! Caught him, and you didn't even hear a sound. Like, a lot of people think when you hit somebody hard, you hear like a crack or a pop or something like that. When you hit somebody, you really get them, you just hear like a poof. It's not really a hard, loud sound, because that means all of your fist got them. And you don't really feel it real good. It's kind of like if you hit a home run, the bat will crack when you hear a home run, but when you hit a home run, it's like you don't feel like you got you feel like you got it real good. It just feels like you're hitting air or nothing really. And that's how I felt when I hit him. I felt like I wasn't hitting anything. And, you know, he falls down on his butt. Bam! And he looks up at me, and I see the shock in his eyes. He's like, "What the just happened?" And he's over here like, he's pissed. He's shocked. He doesn't know what to think. His bell got rung a little bit, so he's a little bit confused. And he smacks the ground, and he gets back up. So when he gets back up, I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm like, man, I just knocked dude down. So I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go in. So he comes towards me again. And, you know, kind of in the same fashion he did before, but not with the same vigor. He comes at me again. And I feint him. I throw it at him like I pretend like I'm going to throw my left hand at him. And when I pretend like I'm going to throw that left hand about him, he puts those hands super high. And I go to the body, bam, 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 I land some more shots. And then I just start hitting him, and I start catching him. I start seeing everything he was doing wrong. I saw when he would throw a left hook, he would drop his shoulder down. So he would try to throw that left hook, and he would leave this all up, and his chin would go up. And I was just catching him on the chin with shots from that. I was countering him. I was hitting him to the body with jabs. And that's how you know you're super confident. And I was catching him up top. I was just going to town on him. I was seeing everything. The world opened up. I could see everything he was doing wrong. I could see every mistake he made. Stuff that my coach was trying to tell me about, but I couldn't see it because I was so covered up. I could see it now. I could see everything he was doing wrong. I could predict the moves he was going to make. And I was dictating to him what he did next. I would shake that left hand at him, and then he would go put his hands real high, and I would go to the body on him. Then when he put his hands down, I'd go upstairs. Finally, he was getting standing 8 counts. And then they stopped the fight. Because it was like he was getting beat too bad. It was like we reversed roles. Everything changed. He was in my position. He was looking scared. He was looking confused, nervous, distraught. You saw him kind of looking out toward the crowd like, are they laughing? Because people going ooh and ah every time he get hit with a big shot. Everything changed. And after that fight, I learned something. And it took me a little while to really process what I learned. But what I learned was, in life, you got a lot of storms that come your way. A lot of bad things that happen. A lot of times when you lose things, you lose your job, you lose your car, maybe you lose your friends, you're struggling, you're going through some stuff, you're sick. And people always tell you, well, just weather the storm, baby. You'll make it. You'll be okay. You'll be all right. It'll be good sometime. But what we don't realize sometimes is while we covering up and trying to weather that storm, we got our hands real high, we can't see anything. The opportunities are actually there right then. That's when you can win. A lot of times in life, the opportunity is actually happening for you while you're going through the struggle, while you're going through the storm. Sometimes when you got your hands real high, you're trying to cover up and get through the storm so you can start doing something, you miss your opportunities. And then you got to start over with another storm all over again. And we keep that pattern going. Because if you notice, when you start winning, you start feeling like you can win. And then you start seeing all the things that have been there all along. He didn't just start dropping his shoulder when I started landing shots on him. He had been doing that. He wasn't the type of person that would cover up when you catch him with a good shot when I hit him. He had been like that. It's just a situation where I didn't know because I hadn't landed a good shot. I didn't do anything to expose some of those things. They were always there, but I didn't expose them. I didn't look at them. I didn't see what was right in front of my face anyway. When you want to change your life around, when you want to put yourself in a better position, all you have to do is 3 things. Number 1, take a stand. At some point in your life, you have to say, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to go back any further. I'm not going to take another step backwards. I don't care if life beats me down. I don't care if it kills me. I don't care what I go through in my life. I'm not going to take another step backwards. This is my stand. This is my time right now. And I don't care what anybody else says. I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is my time. The next thing you have to do is when you do that, when you take that stand, turn the tables. You got to understand you're one big thing away from changing your entire life. And what might seem like a big thing is really, it could be something as simple as throwing a left hand. It could be something as simple as going back to school. It could be something as simple as meeting the right person. And maybe it could be a person in business, maybe a person in a relationship, whatever. Meeting the right person and making that happen. It could be something so simple that could turn the tables. And once you turn the tables, something that a lot of us don't do is capitalize. Once you turn the tables and you start feeling like you can win, get that confidence about yourself. Start seeing all the gaps in the system, all the things that can help you win. Some people got rich during the Depression. That means that when everybody else was down, they were still up. That means no storm can stop you. When things are going wrong, there's opportunity. I don't care what it is. If your house burns down, there's an opportunity somewhere. But instead of covering up and saying, I'm going to wait till this storm is over, find your opportunities inside the storm. And to do that, you have to stay in the moment. Stay in the moment. Be focused. Be present. See, when I'm getting beat from pillar to post and I'm getting bounced around, smacked around by this dude, you know what I was sitting there thinking? I was sitting there thinking to myself, I bet my dad's going to be disappointed. Man, everybody keep oohing and ahhing in the audience. Are they laughing at me? I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I know my mom's going to try to make me feel better after this fight. That's going to make me feel worse. I'm sitting there thinking, did I train hard enough? Am I in good enough shape? Should I even be open yet? Maybe I should go back and maybe I should try to fight novice. When you're sitting here thinking about all of those things, you're not fighting. You're not in the moment. You're not in the battle. You're not in the war. What you got to do is get back into it. Get your mind focused back into it and make your stand. And I promise you, once you make your stand, you'll know what to do next. So hopefully I was able to help you. Once again, it's your man, Chaz.